How's it going there, folks? Welcome back here to a Monday night. It is the Earthmaster here on this end, about 9:35 p.m. California time, September 9th, 2024. Latest activity of 1.0 or 1.3 up into the Alaska area. Also a little earthquake there in Southern California as well. We are seeing a little bit of activity ramping up here about the Baja California region, it looks like. So let's go see what's going on down here across Southern California today. 2.5 map pretty much removes all of the earthquakes. Again, there was a 3-pointer, it looks like, 3.2, a little bit further south here along the plate boundary down into the Baja California area. USGS showing this as a 2.5, but it does look like there's a little bit more larger scale activity there down in that region. Area around the Salton Sea here, got a few earthquakes this morning, nothing else today in this area. Most of this movement, again, early this morning, about 4 o'clock or so, there was some adjustment going on down here. As far as most recent activity, a couple earthquakes out here across Southern California, mainly microquakes. Still seeing a little bit of swarming out here across the Ontario area. This is the earthquake activity that stirred up in the last couple days here. We're coming up on about 46 earthquakes underneath this region around the Fontana earthquake swarm region. Aside from that, as you can see here, the San Andreas Fault continues to sleep and build up the steam needed for an 8.1 earthquake. One little earthquake on the San Andreas Fault here, a little 0.7, but aside from that, nothing major going on there in Southern California yet. Across the Ridgecrest area, Bakersfield, little light on the earthquake activity here today, but as I've stated here in videos past, it's not always consistent earthquake activity. Kind of works its way around the plate boundary accordingly. So even though today was somewhat light on the earthquake side of things, we could see this ramp up tomorrow or maybe even the next day across Southern California. Either way, still got to be on guard out there. Nevada region, out in the Goldfield Hills area of Nevada, still seeing a little bit of earthquake activity today. Bay Area of Northern California, a couple smaller quakes out there. Nothing major going on. And a handful of smaller quakes up and down the rest of the state here. Again, nothing significant. One earthquake out shy from the Cascadia subduction zone. This is going to be the Cascadia Basin area. Little 2.6 out there. One earthquake up here as well into the Cascadia, 17 miles deep here, for a 1.8 from last night. Let's check out the tremor activity here tonight. Let's go over to this one here. I got a couple windows here I'm opening. Created a new Earthmaster store on the bonfire site. Pretty cool. I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit better quality merchandise when it comes to the clothing there with the merch. So I posted that on my social media accounts, so go check it out. A little bit of activity here underneath Oregon. 86 epicenters of tremor along the Cascadia. Not a big deal. That number is significantly lower than what we've seen here over the last month. And last month, total tally looks to be about 13,557 tremors. Not earthquakes. These are basically slow slip release type of events or a slow vibrational frequency that's picked up between the two plates when they slowly move past one another. But obviously, when we got elevated tremor, there's elevated strain up at the locked area of the Cascadia. Through the Pacific Northwest or the Intermountain West areas, Yellowstone. Let's see what we got going on here. Really nothing big. Couple smaller earthquakes there from this morning near the Hebgen Lake Estates. So let's go see what's going on there. Across the Yellowstone overview, those look like thunderstorms from earlier, some type of wind event. Those are not earthquakes. Earthquakes are going to be in here. There's a couple right here, 1, 2, 3, and maybe a handful in the background of all this activity as well. Localized over here across this region of the Yellowstone area, again around the Hebgen Lake Estates region. But no major earthquake swarm, no major earthquake activity, no major movement at all there across Yellowstone for now. Texas area and Oklahoma, about the same as any other day. A few more earthquakes out in Tennessee, and we had that one earthquake up here in New Jersey from early this morning, a 1.9. All right, let's take a look at the big picture of things here. Still getting a little bit of migration southward here along the plate boundary. North Island New Zealand coming in right now with a 4.7 earthquake. That not showing. When was that? 2117. So that's been a little while. There it is. That 4.7 showing up there on the New Zealand station. This one specifically sits right about here, so surprisingly it picked it up. But yeah, this earthquake, 6 miles deep. It's a little sketchy here. The reason why is the location, the proximity of this earthquake there at the northern end of the Hikurangi subduction zone. It's a major seismically hazardous area for New Zealand, similar to the Cascadia subduction zone, although not quite as lengthy, but it is capable of producing a megaquake. It has historically. It's been quite a while, and there is, of course, always some concern out here that we could see a much bigger earthquake for the New Zealand region. Recently, North Island area has been getting a lot of deeper activity underneath this region. Of course, it's a major subduction zone right here, right? So that makes sense. That strain would be adding up across the locked areas there. 4.7 earthquake right now, about 6 miles deep there. And as you can see, a handful of other earthquakes there throughout the last 24 hours. The majority of these today, though, just after midnight. So slowly working its way down into New Zealand right now. Just stay on guard out there. 4.8. There's a handful of deeper quakes underneath this area. Those are going to be these rings that are raised off the globe underneath North Island. So it looks like the strain out here is being picked up around the locked area up here across the Hikurangi. Let me go check out the GeoNet servers here real quick, see what we have. And then I'm going to call it a night because I am tired. Goodness, just been a long day. Last hot day, hopefully, out here in Northern California. It's supposed to cool back down into the low 90s, 80s, even some 70s in the forecast. There's that 4.7 23 minutes ago. I'm sure folks felt it. I got about 422 reports coming in, mainly around North Island area, even a little bit down across the Wellington area. But that's, it's an earthquake, and no doubt people will feel a 4.7. Again, that's just, the epicenter right here. This is where they're stating the epicenter is. Looks like it's on land. The USGS has this a little bit further offshore here in the Hikurangi. So location of this earthquake's pretty important, right? One saying something else, and the USGS saying another thing. So whichever one's right, who knows? Either way, earthquake activity ramping up there across New Zealand. The earthquake drums will, I'm sure, show that 4.7 coming in right now, or 4.8. Beautiful signature there on the seismograph station. There's a couple of those deeper quakes underneath North Island throughout the last 24 hours. South Island region down here on the southern, or the bottom of the map. Not a whole lot going on there for now, but keep an eye on New Zealand. Watch for some further adjustment with this pattern that's going on here from north to south. Across the area of Taiwan and Japan, the latest quake in this area, 5.4, earlier this afternoon. Aside from that, there's not anything major going on out here for now. Clustering, as always, on any given day out here. I'm going to lower this just a tad bit there because of the time frame. I don't think it should be about the last 24 hours or so. Not a whole lot going on through the northwestern edge of the Pacific plate. Clustering going on across the Taiwan area southward, which is very typical. And we'll just kind of keep an eye on things. Right now, got to watch this area. Some elevated activity being picked up for sure. Southern end here of the globe, or map, whichever flat scale model Earth you want to look at here, 4.5 near the, what's all this fracture zone out here. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that name, but either way, a little bit of earthquake activity out there today. 4.5 earthquake. The rest of the Atlantic Ocean, though, pretty quiet. Not a whole lot going on here across the area for now. Middle America Trench, Puerto Rico area as well. These two regions showing some slight uptick. South America, a little bit on the quiet spell there today. Oh, what do we got? A couple more earthquakes here. 2139. Yeah, one more coming in. Oh, right on the San Andreas Fault here, it looks like as well. The southern branch. Again, folks, just stay safe. Who knows? This could be the trigger that sets the domino effect of the big earthquake in motion out here. You never know. One never knows, right? So we have to be vigilant and observant as to what's going on out here recently and as of now. Space weather activity here. I'm just going to keep this really short in terms of update. Still seeing a significant proton event out here across the area of the northern and the southern polar regions here. Pretty significant. That is due to a CME, a massive CME that kicked off here yesterday. We're still getting bombarded by the protons. These charged protons interact there with the ionosphere. Not the auroras. Those are not auroras, but things heating up there across the ionosphere. They have a dramatic effect here on some high frequency communication and low frequency navigation systems, as mentioned on the Solar Ham site. Shouldn't affect anything here across the area that's not affected there on the map. Okay, so detailed forecast here. We got the G2 class storm coming in for Tuesday night. Here's tonight. Monday night, not a whole lot going on. There might be a little bit of aurora activity. This is for tomorrow. We're expecting a G2 class storm coming in around 21 to 0 UTC time. Right now, current UTC time is 0440. So we're looking at any time tomorrow night after it gets dark. Look towards the northern horizon there if you have a clear sky, and you might be able to see some auroras out there. That's all dependent, though, on the BZ component of the interplanetary magnetic field. Let's see what's going on here. Real-time solar wind stream. See what it looks like right now. Oh, that's not good. It went way north here of this line, way north, and that will suppress any type of aurora activity. But we're not expecting the brunt of it until tomorrow night. So hopefully all these little red dots here will trend south below this centered line, and that's the BZ component there of the interplanetary magnetic field that allows or suppresses the conditions there for auroras. Again, tomorrow night, folks, we'll watch for that. No major flares right now. We still have somewhat an elevated chance, 15% chance for an X flare. I'm watching this area. It should be coming around the bend, around the eastern limb here in the next couple days. There's a huge active region over there. Let me show you guys. Formerly known as 3792. That was the name it was given last time it was out here on the Earth-facing side of the sun. So this is the eastern limb right here. These are the current sunspots that are facing us. We should get a little visual here of this massive region. It's a very active area as well. It's thrown off a couple very large explosions here in the last couple days, far side explosions. So I'm pretty much certain that this is the area. There's also another region up here. Should be cresting around. I think we're seeing some of that right now. This area right here looks to be a very active region as well. But either way, I think the quiet spell in terms of the, just some minor to moderate flaring activity will come to an end, and things should ramp up here once these regions come back into the Earth-directed view. A little bit of flaring out there on the western limb from a sunspot that was probably pretty quiet out here while it was on the Earth-facing side of the sun, but now it looks like it wants to kick up a little bit. All right, hurricane activity. We do have a situation here across the area of the Gulf of Mexico with Francine. Currently a tropical storm. Got sustained winds there around 65 miles per hour. Needs a little more to get to the hurricane status. These are the warnings and watches in effect. Right now we have a hurricane warning here in the red across Louisiana. Portions of Texas in there as well. Tropical storm warnings in the blue. Yellow is going to be tropical storm watch. So kind of a big deal. Now, this is expected to hit land here around the Louisiana area sometime late Wednesday. They got 7 p.m. here for landfall, but of course the outer bands here will arrive earlier. And this is the center portion where the winds are the strongest. And going to bring a lot of rain out here. That's going to be another major concern here in terms of flooding potential. Expected rainfall totals out here. As you can see, they're up there. We'll have to watch that. These might be a little bit on the generous side in terms of low amounts. We'll see what this thing can stir up. The Gulf is obviously warm and ripe. Let's go over here to the current storms, and we'll check out the. Yeah, most of the spaghetti models here are forecasting a direct hit across this area of Louisiana. Lake Charles area, right? And New Orleans sits to the east. Expected intensity here. Most of the models here have trended higher in terms of the strength of this tropical system. Hurricane category status 2 now is the majority of what these models are picking up. So it's going to be a big deal. Let's check out a more intense close-up view here of the area. Texas, Louisiana. Here's Tropical Storm Francine there for now. We're going to put this into motion, the GFS model, run and see what it wants to do. Yeah, see it it's got some significant low pressure there associated with it. Obviously, the lower pressure, the stronger the hurricane is. Again, they're forecasting a mid-2 or so. Don't know if we're going to see a Category 3 or not, but you just never know underneath these conditions. So there is the expected path. After it hits land here, it's going to scoot off to the north and bring a whole bunch of rainfall up here across these areas, including Tennessee, where I heard they need some rain. I'm going to check out the windy map here real quick, and we'll see what this area is forecasting for wind. So Tuesday, about there's 3 p.m., 6 p.m. my time. So this is going to be Central Time here for Texas. Put this into a little bit more motion here. This is the ECMWF model. Right there appears to be some of the strongest wind right around the intracoastal city area, Morgan City. This, of course, is going to be the strongest winds out here along this area. Morgan City is going to be right in there. Lake Charles over here to the west. Looks like they may dodge the brunt of it. Of course, storm surge is going to be an issue as well. And we'll have to watch that. That just shows 93 mile per hour wind gusts. That is the ECMWF. The GFS model paints a similar pattern for location. The HRRR model, which is a high-resolution radar imagery, shows a beautiful eye there. I was wondering what happened to the wind, because that's the area of circulation there. Same location, so everything's pretty much in agreement when it comes to where the brunt of the activity is going to be. Although the HRRR model is showing a little bit more eastward turn, keeping... looks like the Morgan City area off to the western side of the eye wall, which means these areas over here around Cutoff. I was down here a few years back when they were dealing with some tropical activity. So yeah, Port Surfer area, New Orleans up here, going to get one of the more powerful sides here of the hurricane over here on the southeastern area of the eye wall. So we'll continue to check back on it. It's going to be a lot of rain. Let me see what these guys are forecasting here for rainfall. HRRR. Let's go to the ECMWF model. Rain accumulation. There we go. Wanted to see that. So let's take this. Gonna go back a little bit here. About Tuesday or so. There we go. So here's some of the expected rainfalls out here. Rainfall total is about 5-6 inches, similar to what we've seen on the graph there. And again, that's the ECMWF model. GFS model paints a little bit more aggressive in terms of rainfall accumulation. That includes areas around New Orleans or so, where the GFS model is predicting around 7 inches. HRRR model only goes out to Wednesday. And that is a little bit less in terms of accumulation, but nonetheless here, this is going to be something to watch pretty closely, as it is, somewhat rapidly strengthening out here. Let me see what we got for satellite image. I want to go over here to the area real quick here. Current storms. Here's the infrared satellite imagery. Area of circulation looks like it's starting right about here. A lot of convection going on out here on the northeastern band of that tropical system. A lot of convection. Goodness. A little split going on here as well. So we'll have to watch that, see what happens. Right now, it is moving off to the... see what we got here. Moving off to the northwest at about 5 miles per hour, but that should switch up here once it's caught up here in the weather patterns in the jet stream. So we'll check back on that tomorrow and see where we're at in terms of intensity. All right, folks, have yourself a good night. Seismograph stations there. Little earthquake in the Grapevine area. That's not California, but that's in the Nevada area showing up. Nothing showing up here on the map, though, but we've seen a little... Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of earthquake activity on there, right? There's a little spike, but nothing showing up here for now. Southern California, though, more so. Another one coming in since I've been chatting here on the Update 1.0. Just be prepared, folks. Stay safe, and we'll continue to keep an eye on things out here. New Zealand as well. Definitely looking like an unzipping pattern across this area. All right, have a good night. We'll catch you guys back out here in the morning. Stay safe.